What's going on, guys? Welcome into Club Dub Podcast. What's going on? How are we, guys? How are we doing?
Doing good. Let's do this.
All right. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Hope you guys are joining us in. We look like we got a pretty big crowd popping in. All right. Look at these numbers. What's going on, guys? Leave your comments. Again, give us a follow, Club Dub Podcast on Twitter at sportsmockery.com. Follow us as well. Our Twitter handles right there for you. So, guys, how's the week been? A lot of Bears news this week, kind of based off of what we were talking about last week. But how's it been going for you guys? How you been taking in this news?
Good.
Surprising amount of news considering the time of year it is. So, I can't really complain.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been, I think we're about to hit that lull, which sucks. We're about to hit that 6 week, like, you're going to be putting out articles about these dudes, like, second cousins or something, you're going to be digging for stories, trying to find some new stuff to come up with.
This is my nightmare.
I'll tell you what, man, the All-Star break is probably the worst time of year.
It really is.
Oh yeah, it's one of those, it's like a sport, it's like a sport desert, like they have like those lulls and just it's going to be terrible.
It's coming. Very sad.
I like the All-Star break a little bit though, because at least I just like baseball a lot. We're gonna get to watch Kyle Schwarber hit a bunch of home runs and win the Derby this year.
Excited.
Another stain on Jed Hoyer's record. Rip. You seen what Kyle Schwarber's been doing?
Raking.
Unreal.
Awesome.
We'll save that for the Pinwheels and Ivy guys. But all right, guys, big news. Arlington Park. They approved the plan for a football stadium. So obviously, we heard that the Bears were one of the 10 bidders. We obviously won't know if they'll get it. I don't know what their timeline is over there. But now we know that they can build a football stadium there. And not only that, they're looking to build some other things too. Is this a coincidence? I certainly don't think so.
Most definitely not. I mean, there can be coincidences in the business world, but they're not nearly as common as you think. Usually when you see stuff like this starting to fall into place, there's a reason for it. There's an undercurrent of planning going on. And the fact that the Bears have already started making deals with people in the region, they're starting to set some things up, sort of, I guess what you call laying the foundation, probably gauging people about how they'd feel having a stadium there with the Bears being present. It feels like they're pretty confident that they're going to win the bid for this property. And to me, it would be a bit of a shock if they didn't. So I guess we're going to see how this plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, there's been a lot of talk about posturing and continuing to, just leverage other areas like they have in the past and get a better deal from the city. But no, this looks very real. And I'm more surprised than I think I should be. But everyone's arguments. We talked about this last time. The arguments are certainly there. It makes a ton of business sense. And there was actually something that I heard about on the Undercenter podcast. I was listening to them in the gym, actually, which is weird. I listen to podcasts and audiobooks in the gym.
Man, I do that all the time.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's better than music.
After a while, yeah. Sometimes you need a little music pick me up, but most of the time you need something.
That was definitely just a lifting flex.
Did I say I lift though?
I say that and I'm wearing a basketball jersey. But,
I was gonna say you're showing off here, man.
I'm not showing anything off. Trust me. I just like this jersey. I'm wearing it. I love the NBA playoffs, and I worked for the Bucks for a few years, so I like the Bucks. I'm still a Bulls fan. Don't worry. Don't unfollow me for that. I still love the Bulls, but I root for the Bucks when the Bulls are not great. Anyway, keep going, Drew.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Now
I forgot what I was saying.
My bad.
I'm just on our podcast.
Well, in that case, let me interject. My old man's actually in the comments. Gene Lambert.
Hey,
He's
Gene.
Yeah, I know. I was going to ask if he was related to you.
So give him a shout out.
Eagles fan, I thought, right? We've heard about him being an Eagles fan, though.
Eagles and Bears. I mean, he grew up on the Eagles, but he sort of, parlayed into the Bears when he moved to the Chicago area.
Got it. So 2018, who was he rooting for?
Both, really. I mean, it was a win-win for him.
Got it.
Yeah,
well,
I get that.
On, Gene.
Yeah, I was going to ask if he was related to you because I saw he followed us and then he was commenting on a couple of things, and I was like, I bet there's a coincidence there. Coincidence there, not a coincidence. Look at that. Look at that parlay. Not a coincidence with what the Bears are doing. Drew, you still hate fun because you were talking about how you want Soldier Field to, it's still going to be a Soldier Field thing. And I understand, I understand enjoying Soldier Field. I don't hate it.
Me liking Soldier Field I have an affinity for the view. I have an affinity for. I don't think the inside of the stadium. Yeah, the bathroom lines. I get all that, but the actual viewing experience inside Soldier Field is great, in my opinion. The view, the location, all that is great. My biggest point is if they move from to Arlington Heights, is that roof better not be closed. That's all I care about. Give me the rest of it. Yeah, I'll take. I'm not a gambler, but I'll go to a casino and hang out. I'll watch Bears fans lose money and win money. I'll go shopping. I'll go drink. Whatever. Whatever else they build in the area is great. But that roof better not be closed on game day. That's all I care
That's
about.
gonna be my
Everything
new
else is
goal. That's gonna be my new goal of this show is to get you to gamble. I think I said that before, but we'll get you to throw. It's so much fun. You don't have to throw a lot of money on it. You don't have to, go Jordan levels, but get you really into those games. Like
I
you need
wish
like
I could
one
go
more
Jordan
rushing
levels.
yard from Fields. Like give me 5 more rushing yards from Fields, and you win money. It's a huge rush. It's a lot of fun. So.
Oh, I used to. I used to.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
did. Yeah.
Okay.
I've stopped. When it came to like fantasy in high school, and that was fun. It was fun for a while, but now I don't have the time anymore to pay as much attention,
That's
and
fair.
and I don't want to just like throw away money because that's what I'd be doing. So I'm like, I like money a little bit. So
Yeah.
I won't throw it
Okay.
away.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. And I was going to say the fantasy football realm. I can't wait to get into that. We'll have to have a segment on that. Eric, do you do any fantasy football at
I,
all?
I did, I don't dabble in it too much. I did it one time,
Okay.
and I actually finished second in the league. It was the only time I've ever played fantasy football. But
We're gonna have to get a sports mockery league going. We might have some of our fans pop in with us too. Again, guys, thanks for all the comments. This is awesome. We're getting a lot of love right away. Love to see that, Mike. I know we're not a Cubs podcast, but we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk Cubs all the time. They play tonight, so that's why we're. This is going to be a pretty, brief show. Not a whole lot going on, but this was the biggest news
Yeah.
of the week. Aside, and Arlington Heights is we kind of knew that was coming into place, but this is big. The Bears now have some serious depth up the middle. Like this is big time.
Huge, absolutely huge. And I was worried. I'm glad this report is out there. I was a little bit concerned when it was an unexcused absence. I would have been totally fine with him skipping minicamp if it was an excused absence, but unexcused makes it seem like, I'm gonna do my own thing and I don't really care. And never really got that vibe from Eddie Goldman. Was it because teammates aren't vaccinated and he has a pre-existing condition? You don't know all those things, right? So there was a little bit of a concern. But if he opts out another year, I think Eric's written about this, that Ryan Pace eventually is going to know that, yeah, this guy has stayed healthy for the most part. This guy has been an exceptional player for us. But at a certain point, missing 2 years, opting out for 2 years, availability is a big deal. So you have to start planning for a succession, plan. You have to get that going. So I'm glad this is, reported out here that he'll be back. Now they have him. They have Mike Pennell, who is a great run stuffer. They have Kairos Tonga, who, seems to be, a pretty immovable object, up there in the middle. He can spell, at times. And then you
Yeah, we'll
obviously
see how
have
he
Bilal
does.
Nichols if you need him. So yeah, I'm thrilled about this.
I mean, it's crazy how things have changed so much since last year. When Eddie opted out the first time, their depth at nose tackle was non-existent. You had Johnson, and then they had to move,
Yep.
kind of alternate Hicks and Nichols in there just to cover up the stuff. And now all of a sudden you got Goldman, you've got Pennell, and you've got Tonga. You're 3 deep at that position, and all of a sudden Hicks and Nichols can play their primary positions the way they were meant to. I think this is probably one of the deepest defensive lines in the league, and it's pretty crazy. So
that was my next question for you, because that's what I think too. And look at the division. Look at the running backs this team's going to play against this year. I mean, the division alone, 2 top 5 running backs in the league that you're going to face 4 times a year. I mean, you're going to need these. I mean, this is big time, especially too. The Rodgers saga, it continues, but Green Bay's going to have to run the ball a lot more. If Rodgers is sitting out, they're going to rely on Aaron Jones a lot more. We already know what Dalvin's doing up in Minnesota. He is unbelievable. So, I mean, this is big time. And I agree. I think this is one of the deepest defensive lines in the league. And I just don't know. I hope Eddie's okay. Like, I hope that it wasn't something bad. I hope that this was not a personal thing. We may never know why he didn't come to, mandatory mini camp, but it sounded like a shock to Matt Nagy too. And I just hope that everything is okay there. I hope it's nothing that's going to continue on through through the season because we did this team needs Eddie Goldman. I mean, I'm just looking at the numbers right now, and from last year, it's the difference between a top 10 defense, a top 10 rushing defense, and a top 20. I mean, they were, believe, 14 last year, giving up about 113 yards a game. What was that?
15th.
15th.
In rushing or total defense?
Total or against the run. They were
Okay.
15th.
And I'm looking at the year before now, and it says that they were ninth. They gave up 102 yards per game. So that's
You
just in
look
yards
at-
per game. So, and that was
you
with
look at-
Goldman.
Right, and you look at, I mean, you talked about Aaron Jones, you talked about Dalvin Cook this year. That's 4 games. You look at some of the other rushing attacks they're playing. You know, you go to LA, you go to against Baltimore,
Browns.
and all of that. All what they're able to
Browns,
do
yeah.
on the ground,
Cleveland,
the Browns on the ground. You know, there's a lot that they have to face this year. So it's going to be, it's going to be huge to get him back, and the linebackers will have to play well and everything. I mean, this is still, it's not just Eddie Goldman comes in and all of a sudden the Bears defense is fixed, right? I mean, there's going to be more to be shown, but this is huge. I mean, you have someone like Eddie Goldman back there, allowing guys like Bilal Nichols to go back to where they're supposed to play, Akeem Hicks. That is big.
It's
That's
huge.
another thing that, Roquan Smith played as well as he did last year without Eddie Goldman in the middle. So how much better could he potentially be with Goldman eating up those blocks along with Hicks and the other guys? If he is allowed to run free, this could be, an all-time year for him given how well he's been playing.
My worry just with that, and this is just another ongoing thing, is what's the next thing for Danny Trevathan? Because last year he really showed signs of aging, and he was slow, and he's not going to be able to cover some quick guys out of the field. So that's what kind of worries me. With Roquan might have to mask for that a lot and may not be able to get in there. But again, it could have just been last year. I still think Danny Trevathan's a hell of a football player. I just have my concerns with their depth there, especially. I mean, if he gets hurt, I mean, they're a little bit thin there, and so. But you're right. If Roquan keeps playing the way that he is, I mean, that dude needs a contract extension. I mean, he's a 9-player figure, for sure, or 9-figure player. Player figure. My bad. Yeah, you know what I meant.
We got you.
Yeah.
We got you.
So, this really pissed me off. I'm not even gonna lie. I know Chris Sims he's been very consistent with his takes. He played in the NFL. He's been in front offices. He worked with the Patriots. So I'm not discrediting his opinion. Everyone can have their opinion. What's that?
For a year, he worked with the Patriots.
Right. So again, with all due respect to him, because he's been around the league a long time, I'm not saying you can't have your opinion, but man, don't tell me that Justin Fields is this. Look at this ranking system that he gave. Let me get the banner out of the way. Justin Fields, of active quarterbacks in the league, they put him at 39. I mean, Tyrod Taylor, no way. Drew Lock, no way. Mariota, no way. I mean, he's already better than those guys. I know we haven't seen him play. He's better than those guys.
Bridgewater,
I mean, is it wrong that I'm very upset that Kyler Murray is where he
on
is?
this list? The fuck is Taysom Hill doing on this list?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and
Why
I get
is
that you have to
Kyler
make
Murray at
conversation.
number 7? Can somebody tell me that?
Kyler
Murray ahead of Stafford.
I'm going from bottom up. Look, I still have things I want to see from Justin Fields. None of that has changed because we're not there yet. I mean, the narratives out of minicamp are great. I still have things I want to see, but come on, man. Like some of these, like Taysom Hill, like dude.
Justin Herbert is better than Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray in top 7. Like, come on.
Watch football. Matt Ryan's not top half either. Like, Baker's getting disrespected at 13. I think Baker's better than those guys too.
6.
Yeah. What'd you say? I know you're a Baker guy.
Top 6. Stafford.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going that far.
Why is Tom Brady at number 10? I mean, I get it. He's going to be 44, but the guy just won his 7th Super Bowl. What are you doing?
And was a major driver of that too. I mean, this is Chris Sims. Look, just no.
If you watch, I went back to watch this video, and here's exactly what he said. He said, "I think if everything goes right, Justin Fields is in the same class as Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence. Everything has to go right, though." And but then he goes on to say, He reminds me a lot of Cam Newton coming out of college. Like, dude, Cam Newton was an MVP and an elite quarterback for 8 years. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it made me so mad, and this is all I wanted to do. Like,
Whose line?
like seriously, you know?
But the thing about Chris Sims, it feels like he says things just to get a rise out of people, just for the sake of ratings and stuff like that, rather than being truly objective about things. I mean, saying Lamar Jackson was going to be the best quarterback to come out of 2018, that stuff like that. He happened to be right that Jackson ended up being a really good football player, which, good on him for that. But I still think he's not the best quarterback out of that class, to be perfectly honest. I still think it's Baker Mayfield. But, it's just stuff like that just enrages you, that he makes changes to his list just to elicit a reaction rather than being, objective and fair. And so when you see something like this, when he's putting Kellen Mond ahead of Justin Fields, when Justin Fields was clearly superior in 2 years,
not even close,
than Mond's entire run at Texas A&M, it's just
Mond was like borderline undraftable for me. Also, I was very happy that you called Mayfield your first quarterback in 2018.
I would take.
It wasn't that way for a while, but after the way he played towards the end of last year, I'm like, okay, he's ahead of Lamar now for me.
I would also take Baker Mayfield over Lamar Jackson, and truthfully, I think Lamar Jackson, he won an MVP. I mean, guess what?
Exciting.
Not many guys do that. Not many guys win MVPs, but I mean, give me a quarterback that can throw the ball accurately more than a guy that just runs a lot. I mean, that's not going to last an entire career. I would take Baker Mayfield in a heartbeat. You're right. I just don't understand. Like, I'm going to pull up this list again for those just joining in. Welcome in Club Dub Podcast. We hate Chris Sims. That's going to be our new slogan, because I mean, this list that he came up with for the active quarterbacks in the NFL.
Should get shirts.
We should partner with Obvious Shirts. We hate Chris Sims.
Yeah, I was saying, Kenny Mayne's like, "Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers," like at the end of his last interview, like that soundbite. Now we're gonna have like Kevin saying, "We hate Chris Sims."
I'm gonna start. I will go back and cut that up. So here's Chris Sims' top 40 quarterbacks list, and you're gonna tell me right now. I mean, first and foremost, not even talking about Justin Fields. Look at the top 10. I mean, come on. Like, Justin Herbert's in the top 10. Like, Matt Stafford is better than Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. I mean, come on. Do you watch football? Like, these guys, like, it's just, it ain't. Baker Mayfield's top 10. Kirk Cousins at 16. Give me a break. No way. No chance. Like, Sam Darnold at 19. Ugh. Everything about this list just makes me want to throw up. Guys, let's hear your comments. What do you think of this list? Am I crazy? Do you think I'm wrong? Because that's what I'm talking about, Javier. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, it feels like more like he's ranking the coaching staffs rather than the actual quarterbacks themselves.
Boom. So, exactly. That is exactly right, because it sounds like they have no faith in Matt Nagy to overcome, because his one pick on Fields for being so low is his accuracy and decision making,
which is absurd.
I think it is too. I mean, the guy runs like crazy. He's athletic as hell. He's got an insane NFL build. The throwing will come.
And I watched him throw. I have eyes.
Yeah.
And I saw him throw constant dimes over the years. He had 2 iffy games against Northwestern, and what was the other one? Indiana. And then he didn't play overly well against Alabama, but he didn't have a lot of help. So
he threw how many touchdowns in that game, though? 5, 6? Like, it was ridiculous.
Was
Clemson. What was the Alabama game, though? He played
215 yards and a touchdown. Okay. He didn't play terrible, but
not great. Yeah.
He had no chance.
Yeah, the Clemson game was the eye-opening one for sure. And I don't know. We don't know. We don't know if he's going to be special. We're not putting these things on him yet. But the fact that he comes into training camp and these guys are like Dan Orlovsky on ESPN saying he doesn't have a work ethic and he's going to report to training camp 2 weeks early, and Matt Nagy saying this guy's just got a ridiculous motor. I'm just done. I'm done hearing from these talking heads, man. It's just ridiculous. It's disrespectful. It's ridiculous, and I don't want to hear it again. I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, I'm done. It made me so mad.
I can feel the anger through StreamYard. I can feel
Oh,
the anger.
man.
It's palpable.
Anyway, let's get to a happy moment. This is why Justin Fields is going to be good. He's got some really good wide receivers to throw to. Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson have been working out this offseason. Allen Robinson's got a really cool social media team. They post some really awesome photos of him. So if you don't follow Allen Robinson on Twitter or Instagram, go do that now. He posts some really awesome workout videos. And his footwork, as we know, is elite. It's one of the best in the league. We are pro Allen Robinson contract extensions on this show. And I just want to show these workout videos that they've been doing together. And what another reason why I absolutely love Allen Robinson.
Run that back, turbo.
Synchro.
I mean, that last one right there is just gross.
Yeah.
Poetry in motion, man.
Oh, like that last route is just gross. I mean, you're not going to be able to guard that.
The footwork, the hand placement, the head bobs, just like beautiful. It's just
he's trying to, and that's the thing. He's trying to get Darnell Mooney to be able to do that too. Can you imagine you got two guys like that?
Which is terrifying considering Mooney's speed. If Mooney learns to run routes like that with his speed, good luck stopping him.
There's no chance.
The culture that has been built with this Bears offense, it's really cool to see quotes from Jimmy Graham, who had the option to opt out, retire. He's been around a long time. He's got his money. He can go do what he wants. But he loves Cole Kmet. He loved playing with Cole Kmet. He loves working out with Cole Kmet. He loves hanging out with Cole Kmet. That's awesome. Allen Robinson seems to be the same way about Darnell Mooney. They get each other. They like hanging out. They like doing stuff together. They like that. That to me, that's pretty awesome because that does not happen on a lot of teams. And if those guys can become as special as Jimmy Graham was in his prime, Allen Robinson's still in his prime. But if those two can live up to those same hype and like expectation levels, that's awesome.
I mean, it makes sense that those two in particular would connect because Allen Robinson is a workout fanatic. His work ethic is off the charts. That's why he's so great. And if you remember all the stories about Mooney coming out of the draft and then working with the Bears last offseason, he doesn't take days off. I mean, he's going into his hotel room lobby with his helmet on and catching passes from a jugs machine. That's how committed this guy is to being great. So naturally, you would see those two sort of gravitate towards each other because they get each other. They get that drive. They get the grind. So to see them come together like that, it really shouldn't be that surprising, but it is great to see.
Great to see, yeah, absolutely. And I look at the tight end university or whatever that just got started, and like all the tight ends across the league are going to go like learn from each other, hang out, pick each other's brains. This is league wide, all the tight ends. It has to be this way. Like you want a culture where teammates feel the need and the desire to not only hang out with each other, make each other better. Hey, I'm going to take you under my wing. I'm going to make you do what I do because I know I am very good at my job. I am thought of very highly. Hopefully I'll be staying here with you guys if I get a contract extension. That's what you want. The Bears have that, and I'm glad to see that everybody, you look at, like you said, Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet, maybe even a little bit of maybe Damian Williams is going to be taking some more, like guys like Tariq Cohen under their wing, Khalil Herbert under their wing, teach them, tricks of the trade a little bit. That's huge. That's huge.
This offense has the building blocks to be elite. Yes, I said elite.
Andy Dalton taking Justin Fields to dinner with his wife, right? When they're basically in this, like, I'm trying to stave you off for the starting job here. That's incredible.
Yeah.
This guy's fighting for his career in some cases because he's kind of he's in that part of his career where he's thought of as this veteran who can kind of help us, but he's really right. That's awesome, and that part is, I think, very encouraging that the Bears have that. Obviously, it needs to translate to the field, but I mean, as far as off the field stuff goes, they're doing everything right.
I look at this offense now, and if Darnell Mooney continues to take another step, he had almost 600 yards receiving last year with a bad quarterback. If he can take a step this year, can you imagine if they had 2,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard rusher? I mean,
I mean,
Montgomery had a horrible O-line last year, still rushed for 1,000 yards. They're going to have a better quarterback this year that's going to allow them to run the ball more if Fields plays because he moves like an athletic freak in the pocket. It's going to really disguise some stuff. If Mooney takes a step and he can be, an 800 to 1,000 yard receiver, you get Montgomery running over 1,000 yards. Allen Robinson's probably going to have over 1,000 yards. I'll put my money on that. And you got Tariq Cohen coming back off of injury. I mean, this offense has the building blocks to be elite. It does, and I'm not afraid to say that. There are some elite playmakers on this offense that, with the right play calling and with the right quarterback, we could really see a big step this year. I'm not saying Super Bowl. I'm just saying that it's building to that.
You look at go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, well, you've already got one good receiver and you've got a good running back, so those are two pieces key right there. The way I see it, if Mooney and Kmet can take the next step this year, as many think they should, that you got four pieces right there, and four guys are hard enough to stop on the field for any defense. So, when you have that many options, in addition to the other guys like Bird and Goodwin, who could be contributors, Cohen, obviously, and Graham, who's still a red zone threat. I mean, you got a lot of moving pieces here, which is exactly what, Matt Nagy has been striving for so long, but for one reason or another, it just hasn't, coalesced. But if they get the proper blocking up front, Andy Dalton is going to find some guys open. He's always proven to do that over the course of his career, both in Cincinnati and in Dallas. And, the same goes for Justin Fields when he was at Ohio State. So it always comes down to the trenches first. And if the other guys take their steps forward in addition to what they already have, this offense can be very good.
The emphasis that the Bears have put on the offensive line this year, and I know we've talked about this in the past, but that is huge for me. I know they got rid of Charles Leno. I know that they have some decisions to make on the interior, a tackle. I get all that, but the profile of player that they went after, the juggling of the offensive line that they've done, the depth that they've added, not just to their main roster, but also folks competing for the practice squad. That's huge. It is a fundamental shift from what they've been building in years past with Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. And look, that is a product, in my opinion, of a lessons learned. I mean, everyone talks about, oh, they haven't learned their lesson. These guys suck. Collaboration. That's a joke. These guys are putting putting together a roster that is very fucking exciting. From top to bottom on offense. I'm not going to list out all the players again, but four deep at running back, which, I mean, I know that this is a passing league now, and I'm always a proponent of passing the ball more effectively than I care about running. But four deep at running back, and that can actually play out of the backfield and catch passes, is huge. The depth at receiver potentially, and with a guy like Darnell Mooney, who at the second receiver spot, that could be as good as he was last year, plus better. That's huge. Tight end with Cole Kmet taking the next step, huge. And quarterback, I mean, just not having a bottom 32, literally one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. It's honestly
the amount of talent they've amassed. I'm not expecting greatness from Dalton, but I know that he's going to be better than Trubisky, and that's not even a question. And I know Fields is going to be better than Trubisky too. Yeah. I know that he will be better. When we'll get to see him, obviously we don't know, but either way, this offense is going to be exciting if they are healthy, and I'm pretty sure that they could be one of the most dynamic offenses in the league when Fields is playing and he's healthy. They won't be dynamic with Andy Dalton. I think it's going to be two separate playbooks, but I'm holding out hope for this, and I think if Allen Robinson and Mooney can both have 1,000-yard seasons, I mean, that would be great. That would be great, and I think it's possible. I really do. Am I wrong? I think it's possible.
No, I think you're right, and I want to highlight this comment here from H Renegade 530. I think people underestimate how much of a difference a healthy Cohen will make on this offense. Yeah, look, awesome. I know we've said Tariq Cohen's name is just kind of like one of the guys at running back. This guy was the Bears' only piece on offense, basically, that could threaten the defense. Yep. 2 years ago, he got hurt last year, and that was unfortunate. But this guy is a nightmare for defensive coordinators. So you have this guy back along with all the other pieces that the Bears have added. This is a great point. I mean, I know we've talked about Cohen as just like a guy, which is a good guy, but just a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy is insane to defend and game plan for, and the fact that they're going to have him back along with everything else, it's a really good call out.
I mean, if he's healthy, what are the defenses going to be able to do in order to contain him? Because now all of a sudden the Bears have other pieces sort of in the making. They already have A-Rob, and now Mooney's starting to emerge. So you're going to have to start devoting defensive backs to them. If you put him on linebackers, it's over.
Yeah, forget about it.
You're not covering him with linebackers. So, this is exactly what the Bears have sort of been building towards, trying to get enough pieces in place to make Cohen that much more of a dangerous weapon in addition to everyone else. So it all comes together as part of the formula, and it looks like the Bears have finally started to put the things in place that they've wanted.
And the rest of the league is going to continue to sleep on David Montgomery and whatever. Let him do that. David Montgomery is a stud, and he's going to have a better offensive line this year. Montgomery is a stud.
He's awesome.
He's Matt Forte-esque. He's got that same build, and he's shedding tackles. He's hard to bring down. I bring up this point a lot because I think a lot of people forgot how horrible. I don't remember the week stretch. It was like right in the middle of the season. It was like week 4 through week 8 during that losing streak that they couldn't run the ball. They had less than 20 yards rushing, and he still finished the year as a top 5 rusher in the NFL.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Ridiculous.
So
really ridiculous.
The incredible part for me was the 7 touchdowns in like the final 5 games or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, he was just cashing in constantly, and if he can do that for an entire year, he could threaten the single season record, which has stood for a long time. That would be fun to watch.
That would be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, they learned their lesson. Hey, you know what? Instead of 3rd and short, here's they couldn't run with Tariq Cohen last year, but it was like, hey, give it to David Montgomery. This actually might turn out well, and it did. And it worked. And then he's like, oh, goal line, same concept. Here you go. And he scored. Like it was fun to watch. I mean, yeah, I understand the defenses they played. I made that comment several times and everyone was like, oh my God, Trubisky figured it out. No, he didn't. But I mean, it was still fun as hell to watch.
No. Mitch did not figure it out. What do we have? Like 57 days till he suits up at Soldier Field in the Bills uniform? It's gotta be, I think it's something like that. It's like 2 months.
Here we go.
Maybe we should try and go to that game. I've seen some photos online of like people selling tickets that are it's pretty reasonably cheap. I actually wanted to bring this up to you guys. A lot of people are watching, so I don't want them to steal my idea. But I'm on this Facebook page with Bears season ticket holders, and there was a game in against the Vikings in mid-January, like January 20th or December 20th. And you love the roof open, and the tickets were only like $100 a piece. I mean, I'm kind of down. That'd be kind of fun. And Drew, you like to freeze in the with the roof open, so it wouldn't be a problem for you.
It would not be a problem for me. I'm telling you.
All right, I'm gonna put you guys down as a maybe.
Experience. It's an authentic experience.
All right, this is okay.
Heck yeah.
Hard maybe. All right, we'll talk off air. I want to go. I'm gonna get to at least a couple games this year.
I am down for the Trubisky game, by the way. I am down.
Maybe. Training or like preseason games suck.
They do, but it's like it would be. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Fine. We don't have to go. It's fine.
Maybe we can go, but we're gonna have to have a show there. You're gonna have to pitch it to me. You're gonna have to give me the sales pitch, because honestly, I watched a lot of games. Mitch taking the field in the Bears uniform, and I didn't really enjoy any of them. I enjoyed one when they clinched. I was at the Packer game when they clinched the division. That was awesome, but Mitch didn't really play that well. So Khalil Mack just went God mode in that game.
Oh, good times, yeah. One guy responded to my mentions this week about Trubisky coming back, and his comment was something along the lines of, Trubisky will now get to feel what the bench on the other side of the sidelines feels like. Too good. Too good.
Yeah, maybe we'll see a little bit of Josh Allen. Maybe even if he just plays a series, maybe I'd go for that. Josh Allen is awesome.
This is the second preseason game.
Yeah,
right?
The starters will
the
play
dress rehearsal at least.
Yeah, Josh Allen's fucking awesome. I love watching him play quarterback. So maybe that's a good sales pitch for me. That you can start with that.
Can you imagine if Trubisky plays most of the game against the Bears ones and lights them up? Can you just imagine?
Oh, I can imagine the truthers.
Oh, that would be the worst.
It would be the most incredible viewing experience because you're like, what the hell is this happening?
Mitch just comes out of nowhere and he's just him and Stephon Diggs just connecting on a bunch of passes and that would
beautiful
be
deep balls and perfectly
scrambling around to the pocket,
routes.
the no look throws. It's never gonna happen.
That would be so great.
You can look at me right in the eye, Twitter world, Facebook world, wherever you're watching the Club Dub podcast. Mitch Trubisky is not going to light up the Bears defense, even in a preseason game, even with backups. He's not going to do it. Nope, not going to happen. Minicamp wrapped up. What are our takeaways from minicamp? My biggest one is that everybody was there. We didn't have Goldman, but we know he's not holding out now. Allen Robinson showed up. Everybody's there. Everybody's healthy. We're not looking at any injuries. That's my biggest takeaway.
Huge. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there. I thought the way Matt Nagy answered questions about Justin Fields, it was very clear that Andy Dalton is meant to be the starter. And one quick diversion there is, I don't think he was saying that Fields is not going to win the job because I'm not letting him. I think he genuinely feels Fields has a ways to go mentally, and with all the different logistics that come as part of being a starting quarterback, minus the physical talent, that he doesn't feel like he's going to close that gap by week 1. And I think that's where he was coming from. He may not have articulated it well because he's not trying to give the media like a perfect answer, but I thought that could have been his thought process. Anyway, I thought that was telling. But and then finally. The fact that Eddie Goldman is going to be there in training camp is huge. I was worried about that, but like we talked about earlier, that part is now we're fine.
For me, the fact that both quarterbacks actually probably look good for the most part in practices, that was encouraging to hear. Fields had consistently good moments across every practice. I mean, yeah, he had mistakes, but that's inevitable. And Dalton, too, after a pretty rough 3-interception day, he rebounded really well, strung some good practices together. So it looks like both of them are sort of, coming along really well. You have receivers stepping up already. Goodwin and Bird had some really nice catches along the way. So you like to see the depth step up. And the last thing for me are seeing guys like Kindle Vildor really starting to take that next step in their development. He's really looking like he's going to be competitive in training camp for one of those starting jobs. So seeing those draft picks from last year, Kmet, Vildor, Mooney, all these guys starting to step up, and of course Johnson, it's very encouraging because you need them to really sort of start filling in those voids for what's coming this year.
It's actually a really good point. Just to elaborate on that just for a second, the Bears beat that was attending minicamp and reporting on it afterwards, there was a lot more positive reporting this year about, we obviously the quarterbacks and how much better they looked than the competition last year. Plus, all these players like Cole Kmet giving the Bears defense problems, and Kindle Vildor, to your point, and the speed that which Marquise Goodwin and Damiere Byrd were showing. The quote unquote positive vibes coming from the Bears beat after these minicamp practices was significantly different from what we heard about last year, and that's huge because if they're actually showing out well. This is, they're still getting things together. There's a lot of new pieces. That's impressive. I think that is something genuine. And we're still in minicamp. We still have 6 weeks or so to go until training camp, and then once training camp comes, or 4 weeks, and then once training camp comes around, hopefully they're 4 weeks further into the playbook. They're feeling stronger, healthier as they get back into their prep routines for training camp. That's encouraging.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Doesn't that just get you fired up? Oh, man.
I heard Hicks was in shape, and he looks it.
That's scary. That's one scary dude.
Imagine blocking that guy, man.
That is one scary
Rather
dude.
not.
That dude's a beast. I hope he's healthy this year. Him with Eddie Goldman back. We know he's starting to age a little bit, but either way, it could be a fun year if everybody stays healthy. We know that's not inevitable in an NFL season, but minicamp went great with no injuries. Obviously, we're looking at the one to first round wide receiver from North Carolina, Newsome. We're looking at an injury there. But other than that, we knew he wasn't going to really be a major player on offense this year, just a special teams loss for now. So yeah, this is promising. We're looking forward to it. We got a 6-week drought. We'll still be with you guys to bring, we'll have some content. We'll have some fun stuff to come up with over the next 6 weeks, but obviously not going to be a lot of Bears news. So we hope that you'll continue to join in with your comments. Maybe we'll start to do some mock drafts in fantasy football. Maybe I'll simulcast while I'm doing a mock draft and ask you guys some questions. We'll come up with some fun ways to keep you guys engaged. I'm a pretty good fantasy football player.
I'll help you draft. Don't worry.
I'm a pretty good fantasy football player that's never won a league, but I'm a pretty good fantasy football player.
You're a very good also ran. A very good.
Man. Yeah, I'm a what?
Bridesmaid.
And a very good also ran. And also ran. Like you were also part of the race. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it went right over my head. You confused the hell out of me there. I was like,
am I the only one that knows that
word? You're just smarter than me, and you work out, so you're just automatically just alpha Druve.
Clearly.
But yeah, no, 6 weeks till training camp begins. So again, keep following us on Twitter. Keep following Eric. He's pumping out articles left and right.
Machine.
I can't wait to see what he digs for when there's not a whole lot going on. Let's hope he has to dig. We don't need any major news. No major news injuries or anything like that. Let's just ride it out to mini camp, and we'll do our best to entertain here.
I'll tell you what, Allen Robinson signing a contract would be nice.
We got 15 days or so. 18 days.
Okay, yeah. Any major news except for that, because that would be awesome.
July 15th rolls around. I mean, people are going to be refreshing Twitter all day. That's all.
Yeah, we'll see. I have my doubts, but again, Ryan Pace has shocked us a million times. We'll see. All right, guys. Good show tonight.
Talk soon, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll chat again in a couple weeks here, probably. Maybe next week. We'll figure it out. We'll go by ear. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Give us a follow right now. You can follow all our Twitter handles right there. Follow at sportsmockery.com and follow the Club Dub Podcast on Twitter. And we will talk to you guys in a week or so. Have a great evening.